All right, so we're going to do a different format of a video today. I'm going to be discussing the SVS 3000 Micro Revolution, this guy, versus the WiiM Subwoofer Pro, this guy. Now, retail price is about 450 bucks for this one and about $1,000 for this one. And they could not be more dissimilar. Now, while they are considered smaller subwoofers, the difference is pretty large in terms of output capability. The WiiM is closer to like a mid-bass module is what I would consider it. It just has a single 8-inch down-firing subwoofer, and it's somewhere in this slot-ported area. And then the SVS has two 9-inch woofers, one on each side in dual opposing configuration. Now, in my testing, which is all done outdoors, I found that the SVS has quite a bit more output capability than the WiiM. And that probably will come as no surprise to most people who are familiar with the two different product lineages. However, the WiiM is larger, so to the lay person, they may see the WiiM and think, this one's going to have more output, and it doesn't. I will say though that neither of them are going to give you the low output that you would get from a larger subwoofer, something that has maybe a single 12-inch in a ported configuration. But they'll do a really good job of giving you some nice mid-bass punch and around 40 hertz extension in your room. That said, the SVS certainly trumps the WiiM in terms of lower frequency extension. Now I'm going to show you what all this means when I say all this in the data in a little bit. Now I've got my trusty gloves on, ready to do some proctologist exams, or rather, just so I can touch the subwoofers and I'll get fingerprints all over them. So let's check out the SVS. As you can see, small cube. It's going to fit in really tight spaces. That's what she said. That would suck if that's what she said, actually. I shouldn't say that. All right, so let's check out the back. You can see you've got different RCA inputs, and you also have XLR inputs. I think that's a great feature to have, the XLR inputs. Any of the tuning that I did was done through the SVS app, which you can see here. The SVS app offers you a lot of different EQ features, as well as level, phase, and time delay if you need those. Now, I'll talk about the delay and the signal itself in a little bit. Now, it's a little bit heavy, I'm not gonna lie. Now let's take a gander at the WiiM subwoofer. You can see this sucker's a lot larger than the SVS subwoofer. It's got a nice gloss finish on it. It says WiiM right at the top. I'm not gonna lose my other hand on this to point it out. Hopefully you can see it. I'll point it with my head right there. That's where it is, okay? And then, let's see if you can see this. The slot has the subwoofer deep inside of there, and it is ported as well. And again, this is an 8-inch subwoofer inside of this enclosure. The enclosure is quite heavy, certainly more heavy at least when I'm holding it than the SVS. Now as for the back, single RCA input, as well as the power input. So not a lot going on with this subwoofer. The interesting thing though is that this one can be set up wirelessly, which means that you don't have to have a dedicated RCA running to this particular subwoofer and connect it wirelessly. The other thing that I like about the WiiM is that it can all be controlled via the WiiM app. The WiiM subwoofer doesn't have its own dedicated EQ. It is used in line with the WiiM Ultra. Whereas the SVS has its own dedicated EQ. So for example, let's say that you want to run your SVS in a 2-channel stereo system and you don't have equalization in your preamp or whatever you're using to provide signal. You can use the SVS app and do equalization through that. You may be wondering, how does this SVS compare to the previous SVS version, and is it worth the cost to get this one now? Well, yes. On average, it's anywhere from about 4 to 6 decibels higher output capability than the previous one. And what about the KEF KC62? Are either of these better? Well, let's look at the data for that. So when I do my subwoofer testing, I do so outdoors. This gives me a good baseline for comparisons. When you do subwoofer testing outdoors, you also want to be really far away from any reflecting surfaces. And in this case, I was on an 80-acre property, no reflecting surfaces anywhere nearby that would affect these results. The second thing I want to say up front, there's a difference between CEA 2010A maximum SPL testing and then actual frequency response maximum SPL testing. When you take frequency response, you're just sweeping the speaker and you're seeing what it does, right? You're saying, "I'll get down this low, and this is how high it'll play in terms of output." When you look at CEA 2010A testing, that takes quick little tone bursts at certain signals. So it will do 20 hertz, 25 hertz, 30 hertz, 40 hertz, 50 hertz. It'll do these different signals, and it'll just be a little boop, 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 quick tone burst. And what it's doing at that frequency is it's looking at the harmonics of that frequency. There are thresholds that those harmonics cannot go over. If those harmonics exceed that threshold, then it fails that test, and that caps the maximum SPL capability under the CEA 2010A burst testing method. So what this means is that the CEA 2010A data may not reflect the actual frequency response measurement, because the CEA 2010A is limited by a certain distortion threshold where the frequency response doesn't care. It's not looking at that. I'm just sweeping it and saying, this is what the response looks like. Keep that in mind when we're talking about these results, okay? So first off, we're going to look at a quick table. Here's the table. Pause this if you want to. It's the SVS Micro 3000 original, KEF KC62, WiiM Sub Pro, and SVS 3000 Micro Revolution, the new version. This table is the results from my CEA 2010A testing. But let's save you some headache and let's just look at a graphical form of this. In this graph, you can see that the new SVS is in black, WiiM is in yellow, KEF is in this red, and the older version of the SVS is in blue. Let's compare new versus old SVS, black versus blue. We can see that new versus old, there's about 6 decibels difference. Is the new one worth buying? Absolutely. It's not even a question. The new one is 100% worth buying if you already own the original SVS, but you want more output. That's the easiest question to answer in this entire review. Now things become a little bit more complicated. So the KEF KC62, as I said earlier, about the same size as the SVS, but the KEF uses 2 6.5-inch woofers. It's not going to have the same capability as the SVS. However, below about 25 hertz, these two kind of align. The WiiM actually tracks the new SVS from about 40 hertz to about 25 hertz. That's pretty impressive in terms of CEA 2010 testing. Above about 50 hertz, things flatline for the WiiM, whereas the SVS continues to go up in output. Now, really what this means is that the SVS is using a pretty aggressive limiter. And a limiter, all that does is it takes the signal coming in and it says, I know based on some math that my subwoofer is capable of providing this much output before something gets damaged. Most likely the voice coil frying or sending the sending the cone just flying right out of the subwoofer, right? So they do that to protect the speaker. And also, then that keeps you from having to send anything in for a warranty. Some speakers don't limit as aggressively as what I'm seeing here in the SVS. But because the SVS limits more aggressively, especially on the lower end, there's a match from about 40 hertz down on the SVS and the WiiM, but above that, the SVS has about 6, maybe even 10 decibels more output in some frequencies. Now, this graph alone, what I would say is, hey, if you want to save some money, you can buy 2 of the WiiM Sub Pros and get more output below 40 hertz. That's going to double your output. You're going to get 6 decibels more with an additional WiiM Sub Pro. The 2 of them costing $900, whereas the SVS is going to cost $999. So you're saving $100 and you get more output below 40 hertz. You don't get that really above like 63 hertz is where things start to kind of balance out and the SVS still wins out. But that's based on CEA 2010A testing. It's not based on actual frequency response. And depending on which one you put more weight into, which personally, these days I'm kind of going off of frequency response for the lower frequencies above like maybe, or below, I should say about 30 hertz to 40 hertz. So now let's just look at maximum SPL in terms of frequency response. Again, no distortion taken into account, just raw frequency response. The SVS caps out at about 84 decibels. The WiiM caps out at about 66 decibels. So you're about 18 decibels apart between the WiiM and the SVS. So even if you bought a second WiiM, you're still going to be 12 decibels apart from the SVS on the low frequency end. That's a lot. Not only that, but then the WiiM itself is larger physically than the SVS, and then you have to make room for two of the WiiMs. So based on frequency response, I'm still leaning toward the SVS. Now, the interesting thing here is that if you look in this region right through here, the 40 to maybe 80 hertz region, the SVS is about 96, 10, say 100. So about maybe 4 to 5 decibels lower than the WiiM. And if you went ahead and got two WiiMs, then you're just taking this black trace and you're increasing it by 6 decibels. Then you're like 10 decibels higher in this mid bass region between about 40 to 80 hertz. The last thing I'm going to show you here is the WiiM versus the new SVS versus the KEF. Now the KEF is in purple. We can see that the SVS and the KEF actually track pretty well from about 100 hertz and below, but the SVS still wins out with around 8 decibels more total output. So let me see if I can summarize this. Based on my opinion and based on what I'm seeing in the data, if you want a subwoofer that really only extends down to about 40 hertz, doesn't give you that deep rumble, but it gives you a lot of punch, save some money, buy two of the WiiM subs and find a place for them. If you want lower bass extension, you want more rumble, then get the SVS because you're never going to make up 20 hertz. You're not even really going to necessarily touch 30 hertz with two of the WiiMs that the SVS already has with just one. Real fast, I want to touch on group delay. The group delay, part of this shows you the overall group delay, right? But the other thing that I think really matters is the latency. For the WiiM, it's about 30 milliseconds or so. You can see just by looking at this line right here, going through over here, you're 30 to 35, and then you're increasing because there's a lot of DSP used to shape the response of this subwoofer. This increasing part and these peaks, those are kind of typical. But that 30 milliseconds delay from the signal being routed through the subwoofer is a lot. If you have most standard DSPs, you're not going to be able to make up 30 milliseconds of delay. And for what it's worth, 30 milliseconds is roughly 30 feet. There is 13 inches in a millisecond. For those of you who are in metric, I'm sorry, I can't do that math in my head, but let's just say a third of a meter ballpark. Okay. So for every foot or every third of a meter, again, just I'm ballparking here, then that's about 1 millisecond in time. 30 milliseconds, that's a lot of time to have to make up. Most DSPs don't have that built in. Some do. So check your DSP. If you have a WiiM Ultra, I know this for a fact because I checked it like an hour ago. The WiiM Ultra has two methods for time aligning the subwoofers to the mains. One is automatic and it does some magic in there, and I don't know how well it actually works. The other one is manual. There's a slider, and you can set the slider up to 200 milliseconds of delay for your mains. So you have plenty of room to align in time your mains to your subwoofer for the WiiM. What about the SVS? Okay, so the SVS has about 3 or so milliseconds of delay, of actual latency. That's easy to make up with pretty much any DSP or room correction software. That does it for this review. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please ask them in the comment section below and I will try to answer them. If you are interested in purchasing any of these subwoofers, I'm going to have direct affiliate links to all three of them, the KEF, the new SVS, and the WiiM, in the description section below and probably a pinned comment. That's not me shilling. I've given you the data. I've given you recommendations. You choose the one that makes the most sense for you. But if you buy any of them, again, please just consider using one of those affiliate links below. I would certainly appreciate it. That helps me out and that doesn't cost you anything extra. If you'd like to help out the channel a couple other ways, you can do so by joining me at patreon.com/Erin's Audio Corner. That way you can get behind the scenes info, early updates to reviews, data, things like that. And then alternatively, you can use any of my generic affiliate links to Amazon, Crutchfield, Best Buy, et cetera, et cetera. They're straight generic, no direct product links. You buy anything that you want through any of those generic links, and it will earn me a small commission, no additional cost to you. I appreciate you watching. Hope you learned something, and I will talk to you all later. Take care.